Welcome to another Dark Treks, where I suggest a few games you may want to try out if you ever find the time. The focus of these videos is not to simply suggest good games, but interesting ones that you may get a bit more out of than you would normally expect. This go, I decided to focus on indie games with a heavy focus on sprite-based art, and I have a pretty good handful here that you may have passed over, including this very recent one, 1980X. If you have a nostalgic itch for the era of arcade dominance, then you'll be wanting to pick this one up pretty soon. It's a love letter to the era with some larger than expected narrative ambitions, having you play through 5 homage games and weaving them together with narration from a kid musing over the direction his life is headed. It's a bit heavy-handed at times, but there's no denying that the sprite work here is absolute masterclass stuff, with each cutscene feeling like a real lived-in place. The games are also pretty fun and simplified versions of arcade staples, even if the last 2 games cheat a bit in theme for narrative's sake. It's a short experience, but it's one well worth having. Bleed 2. If you've been following my channel, then you may have already seen the video I did on the Bleed games, so you can safely skip ahead. For everyone else, this is easily one of my favorite action games in recent memory. It's fast-paced and constantly throwing new stuff at you with the shifted design focus on boss gauntlets compared to the first game's level focus. It also carries the style of an early 90s side-scrolling action classic, complete with massive bosses that would fit in well with one of Treasure's best, and keeps fights engaging with a brilliant mix of offensive and defensive play through the colored bullet and bullet deflection systems. If you still haven't played Bleed 2, you may want to change that. Desert Child. Another recent one for y'all. In terms of style, it's probably the cream of the crop. A brilliant mixture of low-level Cowboy Bebop style cyberpunk with hip-hop and weeaboo flavoring. The fact that this is in service to a racing game makes it all the stranger, especially when it's a racing game based around hustling your way through a crippling capitalist system bleeding you dry with constant expenditures to get off a dead planet. Desert Child isn't terribly complicated, but just about every screen it has to show you is going to be lodged in your brain for a long time. It helps it's pretty fun to play as well. Jamestown. I am no big shoot 'em up fan, but I do have a soft spot for a few games in the genre, and that goes especially for Jamestown, a bizarre mixture of US history and science fantasy. Released back in 2011 during the indie boom, Jamestown practically worships its arcade inspirations, with huge flying contraptions to take down with incredible music. But there's a style switch here from energetic to grand. Every single thing that happens in this game feels big, like you're a part of history in the making, with the last level actually getting a 10-minute long composition that plays in sync with it. It still looks damn good even today, one of those releases from the time that's not particularly innovative, but the execution remains aces. Love. For a change of pace, here's a 1-bit style game that wouldn't look too out of place on the Atari, with the exception to how intricate the one-color pixel stages can get. Love is a short and simple platformer with a handful of stages with their own old-school challenge, including some Mega Man-style disappearing platforms. You can beat it within minutes, but you keep coming back to improve your time. Love was made with speedrunning in mind, a perfectionist challenge that has no extra fluff or distractions. It's all skill as you traverse the meaningless courses over and over, managing to get its hooks into me for a short bit, and I usually hate repetitious games like this. There's also a sequel out called Kuzo worth looking into, and it seems to have also been released on the Switch recently, so you can't go wrong. Master Spy. Fans of PC-98 games of Kojima's early work, you're going to want to listen up for this one. This game right here is a nail-biting stealth platforming challenge demanding perfection as you slip past guards and security devices and all sorts of extremely 80s and cyberpunk buildings, but the really impressive part are the cutscenes. Master Spy has long and utterly beautiful story segments, played out with sprite work that would look right at home alongside the Snatcher on store shelves. The style, colors, and animations are almost uncanny, giving the game an ironically fresh look compared to its contemporaries today. While the game can itself be a huge pain to play through, it's almost worth it just for the mastery of craft and the art design. Mystic Bell. While we're talking about games with masterful art direction that can be a bit of a pain to play, I absolutely need to bring up Mystic Bell. It's not a very good game in all honesty. The bosses take a bit too long to deal with, and the complete lack of an inventory system for a game based around inventory puzzles can be an absolute nightmare to try and get through it without a walkthrough. However, it has a lot of charm, with moody, spooky, Halloween-like settings played off by the lively people and monsters in them. Almost everything was handled by a single developer, and I need to add, which makes the ridiculous, intricate sprite work even more incredible. This is a work of passion worth admiring, even if actually playing it feels more like work than play. The Tower of Arceus. To close this off, I have this puzzle RPG hybrid, a sort of roguelike dungeon crawler by the way of Bejeweled. The idea is that you journey up a tower by killing monsters by matching them, but you have to take into account your resources and the damage you can take from swarms, finding a way to meager out a win and reach Arceus himself for a final showdown. You can even save other adventurers and create your own party, making things easier, and even use the adventures you saved as your new player character on new runs. It's the animations and color work here that really suck me in and they keep me coming back every once in a while. And despite the $13 price tag, I think it's well worth it just for the sprite work alone. It helps the premise is unique and plays differently from other Puzzle Quest style games. Look for it on sale if you must, but don't let it pass you by. That's it for now. A Neo Feud video is coming soon, and I am already working on the next in the Erevorn series, so look forward to that. Till then.